What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So, first of all, good morning. And it is, what is today? Thursday? I think it's Thursday. No, what is today? Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. I just wanted to cover a couple things. A lot of people ask me all the time, hey, how does Atkins work? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Whatever. So a little bit of backstory. I went from 342 pounds down to about 270, 280. And then the rest of the way, I got to that from 270 down to about 193. Actually, exactly to 193 following Atkins. So it works. But I have 13 things that I want to cover, and this is going to be specifically broadly, it's going to be Atkins induction, but also just Atkins in general, some things to keep in mind. So first of all, number one is clear out the bad foods. And not necessarily that they're bad foods, but if they're not whole foods, and they're also not low carbohydrate foods, or they have any sugars or anything like that, you really need to get rid of those things. And it's not necessarily that they're horrible for you. Maybe they have their place. Maybe you're like, oh, I got to get rid of my sweet potatoes. I got to get rid of my carrots. I got to get rid of this. I got to make sure there's no spices, no hidden carbs in my spices. I got to be careful with my right here. You have to be careful. Why is my coffee not brewing? That's okay. You have to be careful with really so many things because there are hidden carbs and there's hidden sugars in all kinds of things. And it's really important that you don't guess. You always flip it over and check and do spot checks periodically, even if a lot of people say, well, I don't change my food. I buy the same thing every time. A lot of the times products will be, quote, new and improved, which is a hidden way of saying, hey, we changed the ingredients. You might want to flip over the package and see what the hell's in your product now. And usually they change it usually to make more profit and save a little bit more money. So that could be good or bad for you. So make sure you check that. Number two, realize it's very specific, okay? It's not a game as far as, I'm going to get up and make sure I have some coffee figured out. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Who knows what's happening here? Let's see. All right. So I clearly do not know how to use this thing. Let's reset it and see what happens. Okay, it's making noise now, so that's definitely a good thing. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning from Chicago. Good morning, Cynthia. I have no clue what the hell this is doing. This thing's crazy. This is why I never got one of these damn things. We're talking about Atkins induction and Atkins kind of overall and low carb dieting and stuff like that. Low carb way of life, way of eating. I don't know how to do that. I always love your talks on induction. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to be making some more induction videos very soon. Are we good? Are we good? Can we push the button? I need a video on how to use this damn thing, apparently. Are we good? We'll continue talking. Just a second. What does it do? Oh my gosh. I don't know how to use this damn thing. Huh. Oh my gosh, hopefully it's good. Number 3, drink water. And the reason I say drink water is because it's a really good way of cleaning out your system. Should have done this before I went live, that's for damn sure. I always say drink your damn water or coffee. And the reason I say that is because a lot of us are really way underhydrated. You know, your body's lots of water, this and that. We understand that, we get that. But it is like basically the building blocks of having a good overall healthy system that's kind of just humming along. It's kind of like if you shove a bunch of stuff inside a toilet and you don't have much water and you try to flush the toilet, what happens? The toilet gets stopped up. It's kind of the same thing. If you don't have a bunch of water in your system and you're just shoving a bunch of food in, how's the food going to come back out? You kind of have to add water to kind of lubricate your insides, make sure your system's humming along, make sure your body's getting the proper nutrients, especially if you're active, especially during the winter time. A lot of people over dehydrate themselves in the winter because they think, well, it's not hot out. It doesn't matter. You still need water. You still need to make sure your system is moving along. Just because it's a certain time of year doesn't mean that you can neglect your body. So that's really important that you don't do that. Now, backed up to that, number 4 would be your electrolytes: sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These things are extremely important because the more water you do drink, and you've changed your diet, you're eating different types of food, it's really important that you have plenty of sodium, plenty of magnesium, plenty of potassium. And if you are building your own meal plans, it's probably a great idea to go ahead and incorporate foods that have magnesium, that have sodium, that have potassium. But in addition to that, it's probably a good idea to add some of these things in, like maybe some Himalayan sea salt to each one of your meals. Foods that are high in potassium. Good morning. Good to hear from you in the morning. Have a great day. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is my coffee done? I think it's done. We're gonna say it's done. I don't know what the hell's going on here. This thing's driving me nuts. I don't know how to use the damn thing. But so make sure you are getting all of those nutrients, and you're going to see things happen to your body. Your body's going to be changing when you go into induction phase. But also, where am I? I am at the gym. You want to see the gym? I'm at Trainer's Club. You see it? At work. I'm just finished training Shannon. So I am in the kitchen, in the lounge at the gym. But it's really important that you focus on how you're feeling. Are you getting headaches? It may be because of your headaches, you could be lacking sodium. Something like this is what I would include. And I would dust this over every single meal when I'm following inductions, the Himalayan salt. You can actually, believe it or not, find it at the dollar store now. And it's really important that you don't neglect your salt intake. You'll get headaches, you'll get fatigue, you'll get all kinds of things will happen. You just won't feel good. And if you do find yourself getting headaches and stuff like that, or fatigued or anything, low energy, sometimes it's usually a sodium imbalance. And the reason, that's what I found for myself anyway. Yours could be magnesium or potassium as far as like cramping and stuff like that. But a really obvious telltale sign is in the beginning, you are switching from pretty much eating crap all the time, going into, something that you're just eating basically whole foods all the time. And people are like, well, I don't want to pour salt on every single meal. Well, you did that before. Thank you for saying who that was. I don't know who ma'am 22229 is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody's YouTube things. Cynthia's was actually normal, but usually everybody's got like, I am incognito 5475, and I'm like, I don't know who the hell you are. So thank you, Marie, for saying that. But a lot of people will go through keto flu and stuff like that, and they'll feel like junk for the first 3 days and stuff. And usually it's because your bad diet was really filled with a lot of sodium, and you don't realize how much it was like overly pumped in there. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't want to add salt to every one of my meals and stuff like that because I feel like it's going to go too high. You're probably, as long as you're not pouring. I will say if you're eating a whole food diet, meaning you are creating all your meals from like vegetables and chicken breast and stuff like that on your own, you're probably not going to taste wise be able to overdo the salt. It would be disgusting if you went over, trust me. And because like, for instance, mine's like 9 grams. I think it's just shy of a tablespoon of salt a day. So it's kind of like lightly dusting every single meal, you know, throughout the day and stuff. What about not sleeping well? I'm in ketosis already, but my sleep is horrible. Well, did you have issues with sleep before? Are you staying active? Are you getting active? Because that would be my first thing. If you're not getting active, are you eating before you go to bed? Are you having trouble staying asleep? Are you having trouble getting asleep? It's not like a hugely common thing, but people do have issues with that sometimes. That could be that you're not adding enough fats, hormones being unbalanced. This little guy here, olive oil, can be your friend. And a lot of people seem to neglect fats and no problem before. Yeah, increase your fats a little bit, honestly. That's what I would recommend. And the reason I say that is because your hormones could be unbalanced. A lot of people look at, you know, fats. And when you think fats, you don't like think fats nutritionally. Usually you don't think olive oil or something like that. You think the fat on our bodies and stuff like that. So we end up in a bad state, neglecting the fats like the cheeses, the avocados and stuff like that. So maybe try to slightly increase those and see what happens there. The next thing is if you are, and I got to get moving. I hope I can finish before my ketone test turned in white. What should I do? Depends. Do you know you're in ketosis, like mentally? Do you know you're in ketosis? Do you think everything's good? Have you been following it? Have you been humming along fine? How long you been in ketosis and stuff like that? Those are the questions I would ask first. So go ahead and ask those there. As far as an induction goes, a lot of people ask me this a lot of the times. It's very specific that you do 12 to 15 net carbs through vegetables first. A lot of people will make the bad mistake of going 18 to 22 total, but they'll do vegetables. So if you're doing 18 to 22 foundation vegetables, net carbohydrates first, with your cheeses and your eggs or whatever, those small amount of carbs throughout the day will pump you up 18 to 22. So you'll be at like 25, 27. You won't be induction. So make sure you're getting your veggies first, 12 to 15 net carbs. Then usually it will just balance itself out and fall into the 18 to 22 range. Or if you have to pump it up slightly, but make sure you're doing your foundation vegetables first, stopping at 12 to 15. And then those cheeses will be like 0.6. You'll get 0.6 from an egg. And those do add up throughout the day if you're having 2 or 3 servings of vegetables, or 2 or 3 servings of cheese, a couple eggs. You know, it adds up to totaling that amount. Let's see. I'm in 2 weeks now and listened to everything you said. So if you've been staying on track for 2 weeks and all of a sudden you're not seeing a ketone strip working for you, just keep going. Just keep going. If you don't see it pop up within the next week, you'll get false negatives on those a lot of the times, and don't get discouraged. A lot of the times they're not, ketone strips are not the most accurate way of doing it of the blood test. The little prick on your finger would be the more accurate way to test the ketone bodies in your bloodstream. So just take it easy. You know, if you're changing anything, make sure you're monitoring everything. I would just say stay where you're at if you know you're good, and you're probably going to test positive again in the future. I just did a 4-hour butter and beef fast, finally able to lose weight and bring down my blood sugar. Great start of the new year. Good job, Cynthia. That's awesome. I hope everybody has a 2019 that is like mind-blowingly amazing. I am wishing everybody the most amazing year possible. It's important that you guys stay on track. Don't get discouraged. Amir, make sure you don't get discouraged. A lot of the times our bodies are doing different things that we're not necessarily aware of. The body, if you think about it, the fact that the body can wake up each day is an absolute crazy miracle. Can you imagine all the things that our bodies are doing each and every single day? So trust the process, keep up the good work, keep prepping, stay in your range, and you're probably going to start showing results again very soon. The next thing is follow a plan. You don't have to follow my plans. I do offer plans for sale. I have 4-week plans for $45, 8-week plans for $80, and 16-week plans for $135. There are other plans available on different websites and stuff like that. And the reason I say that is because tracking can be a nightmare. And tracking isn't necessarily like if you were doing like macros and stuff like I am and stuff, you can track a little bit easier. But with ketosis, as far as like induction phase is concerned, it's a little bit more difficult of a process and a lot more fine-tuned. It is the very, it's about as strict as you can get as far as Atkins is concerned. It's not like horrible. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it is a very specific thing. And tracking can be a real nightmare. And make sure you're getting all your foods from whole foods. Don't be like, yeah, I got a Hot Pocket today, you know, I did a couple Monsters and I'm within it. I drink a couple Bangs and stuff like that. Eat whole foods. If you ever look at like people that are in the best shape, like if you look at people that are in like literally shape that you want to be, they're not eating and drinking those things and just counting and hoping for the best. They're meal prepping. And if they're not meal prepping, they're at least making sure all their foods are coming from whole foods. I get it. You know, we would all like to eat, you know, pizza and cake and look like we're in great shape. But I don't think society has gifted us with that yet. So we're not at that point yet. The Jetsons taking that magic pill and moving forward. There's no magic pill, by the way. Track, and number 8 is track your progress, and track your progress because, like Amir was saying, there will be difficult times where you're just like frustrated. I'm not seeing anything move or whatever. Track your measurements, track your scale. Don't be defined by a scale. Don't be defined by your measurements, but also track your pictures. Send your pictures to your email, title them like body transformation or something like that, and do them once a month. I don't recommend doing them any more than once a month because I think 30 days is a good way. That's like 4 weeks of change. And make sure if you are looking to tone up and stuff, make sure you're exercising along the way. Number 9, don't guess. Okay. Guessing is stupid. Don't guess. You have Google, you have literally to date, I have 1,501 videos in my channel, which means I know for a fact there's over 500 Atkins videos. 500. You have Google, you have Wikipedia, you have WikiHow, you have books. This is the 21st century. Knowledge is literally at your fingertips. Do not, I repeat, do not guess on anything. Go get an answer. Read a book. Do your research. Make sure you know that this is the type of lifestyle that you're changing to, and it's not just I'm going to guess and hope for the best. It's not like that. Do your research. Get your shit right. The next thing is don't skimp on fat. And I kind of covered that a minute ago accidentally. Don't skimp on fat. A lot of people will think fat, it's not the same. I've talked about that so many times, but just make sure you're getting the proper amount of fat. Many people will start to lose their hair or be fatigued or not feeling good or nauseous or just having all kinds of weird symptoms. And a lot of the times it's because they are assuming Atkins is something that Atkins is not. And a lot of the times that could be hormone deficiency because you're not getting enough healthy fats. There are essential fats and there are essential proteins. There are not essential carbohydrates. Carbohydrates do aid with digestion and stuff like that. But as far as Atkins, you're getting enough of those to be able to help you. The next thing is number 12, portions matter. Okay. And rolling into the last one, these are two kind of combined things. Portions matter, and Atkins is not a free for all. Okay. Many people through the 70s and 80s and even in the early 90s thought, and even today, people think, oh, Atkins is eat as much meat and eat as much cheese as you want, and you're pretty much good to go. And that's not the case. Not only is that not the case, it is wildly wrong. It is really important that you make sure that you know that Atkins is based on portions. It is also based on pretty much, good morning, Brenda, calories in versus calories out. I can eat meat and cheese, and if you think that's Atkins, it's wrong, and it's really it is, like I said, wildly wrong. If you go in and say I'm going to eat 5,000 calories of meat today, first of all, good luck. I am, when I'm bulking and stuff like that, trying to gain weight, I'm eating like 2,000. I have to say, like almost 2 pounds of chicken a day. Now you go ahead and try to eat more than that. 2 pounds of chicken, I don't know what that equates to, but like it gives me a hiatal hernia, meaning a hernia in my throat because it's so much food. So don't think that you can eat as much food as you want and lose weight. That is not the case ever. Okay. Maybe if you were in the army and stuff like that, you could, you're running 20, 30 miles a day. It's not reality. You're not doing that. And you can say and you can justify eating poorly and stuff like that. But Atkins is a very simple thing. It can be a very simple thing, but it also is not a guessing game. It's not eat how much cheese I want. First of all, it's going to constipate the hell out of you. Eat how much protein I want. Atkins is a very healthy thing if you follow it correctly. You can't just wing it and hope for the best. You need to make sure you're getting your healthy fats. You need to make sure you're getting your vegetables. If you ever look at Atkins from a nutritional standpoint, I think it's almost absolutely mind-blowingly hilarious when people try to chip away at Atkins and tell me that it's not good for you. If you saw what I ate before I started following Atkins, and then you told me Atkins was bad for me, you're an absolute idiot. Because I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to hate on anybody or whatever, but think about me eating McDonald's 5 times a day, randomly gorging myself to where I want to throw up. And then I go from that to following 5 awesome, clean, healthy, bountiful meals each and every single day, making sure I'm getting well-rounded amounts of protein, well-rounded amounts of vegetables, positive, healthy fats, and guess what else? Water. How can you tell me that's not healthy? It is. So please, if you're watching this video for the first time or you're following Atkins for the first time, make sure you understand that it's not a game. You can't just wing it. There are guidelines, but it's not like the hardest thing in the world. Keep it simple. Understand what you're doing. Don't play games with it. Don't think you can just guess at everything. Follow the guidelines and you really will get results. Consistency is another thing that I didn't put on there, but it's really important. It's going to take about 3 days to get into ketosis. There's no reason to go buy a product to get you into ketosis faster because, first of all, it's not nutritional ketosis. It just puts ketone bodies inside your bloodstream. There's no freaking point for that. It's not going to work. And if you can't suffer through 3 days, I mean, come on. You're on a 3-day journey. Exactly. Did you hear the pause behind that? Because you're not on a 3-day journey. Okay, 3 days gets you moving, gets you off of burning carbs and fat. get you off of burning carbs and sugar and start making you be a fat burner. So the process is just a small amount. If you're looking to lose 20, 40, 50, 100 pounds, 3 days is just like a shot in the tank. It's like, it's not shit. It's nothing, So if you're looking to lose 100 pounds or something, it's going to take some time. Okay. And it's okay. But you have to remember, every time you screw up, you're resetting, you're wasting your time, because 3 days does add up. 3 days once in the beginning, no big deal. But if you screw up 3 times in a month, or say you screw up every week, you literally got like 14, 15 days out of that month that were positive-ish. Because if it takes 3 days, maybe 5 days, and you screw up 4 times, you lost 20 days. So it's really important that you don't keep doing that. Don't keep doing that. And I've done the math, and if you did once a month cheat day or something like that, it's potentially, you could see better results. But the problem is not the cheat days. The problem is the self-discipline and snapping back out of it. A lot of people say, I need a cheat day. And your cheat day turns into, oh my gosh, I'm right back where I was. It really is a way of life, a way of eating. I go from bulking all the way back down to Atkins, and I'm very carbohydrate sensitive. If I go from not eating carbs to eating carbs, I'll gain 15 pounds in a day. It's like ridiculous. So I'm sure there's lots of you guys out there. I'm going to read these real quick and then I'm going to get going. Foundation vegetables are so important. You're damn right they are. If you want to take a shit, you need vegetables, okay? Getting foundation veggies and calculating was the hardest. Raw versus cooked, etc. Yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people don't think about that. It is a major difference when added up throughout the day versus raw vegetables versus cooked, because sugars are released and then it increases. That was actually like a revelation mentally when I figured that out. I was like, holy crap, there's a difference. And some things are really big difference. And it's not, and I say really big difference because if you have $18 and somebody takes $2 away, that's a big difference, right? Or if they add it up 2-3 times and they take $6 from $18, that's a big difference. So you only have like 18 to 22 carbs to work with. So if you're like inflating that by 5 or 7 or something like that, it really does kind of screw you all up. Could you do a video on that, please? Yeah, I can definitely work on that in the future. I'll write that down right now. Cooked versus raw veggies. Atkins. That's a good idea. It's a good point. A lot of people don't realize that. I don't think I did a whole video on that. I can't believe you found a video, and I might have. It's honestly possible. When I went off my plan and started eating sugar, my legs bloated and I couldn't walk. I bloat up really bad with bad food. I've actually tried to. Recently, I've been stopping sweet and low and artificial sugars and stuff like that because I think it's kind of causing my headaches. The raw versus cooked. Yeah, I don't think I did. Sugar, alcohol, sugar should be banned. Yeah, and it's funny, and I'm not getting into any conspiracy theories, but it's just as bad as drugs. It's just as bad. We seek it out, and it's bad. It's not an excuse for us to do it or anything. Yes, artificial is poison. Yeah. I think it's been causing me some issues, but yeah. And it's funny because if you ever do some research, a small amount of carbs is probably not bad for you. But let's be honest, we're not every day waking up like, I'm going to fall apart on a potato. I'm not talking sweet potatoes. I'm talking a potato. You're not like, I'm waking up today and I'm screwing up by eating 5 pounds of rice. No, we go for those moon pies, those cakes, those Twinkies, those cookies, those chips, those, all of those things that are so much desired, the fruits of life. Yeah, right. They're the fruits of disaster. They screw us up so bad. And just remember, if you do incorporate any type of cheat days, make sure you're damn well strong enough. I don't recommend them for a very long time, especially if you have an unhealthy relationship with food, like myself. If you're an emotional eater or anything like that, yeah, it is definitely. It's really important that you don't probably do cheat days as much as you would like to. Another thing is, before I go, practice your self-discipline. Just talked with the client today about that. Self-discipline is no joke. If you find yourself falling apart, remember, it's not about the foods. It's not about the lack of exercise. It's not about anything. Excuse me. It is literally about you. You know, nobody's holding a gun to your head, putting food in your mouth or anything like that. I know it feels like that. It does feel like that. And that is your own mind fighting your ass. And it is literally one of the hardest things. And the thing that people don't realize is food is like a drug, but it's like a drug that is the most dangerous drug. And the reason it's most dangerous is because if I'm a meth addict, I can wake up and say, you know what, I'm done with meth. I don't ever have to do it again. Now, the difference and the reason Atkins and keto and things like that are so great for so many people is because you are literally eliminating all of those things. It's kind of like waking up and saying, you know what, I'm done with my meth problem or whatever. I'm done with my carbs and sugar problem. And that's why it works so well for so many people, including myself. But the thing about it is, the difference between drugs and saying, I don't need them anymore, is you go everywhere you go, your drug, your food is around you. And it's like having a meth problem and your drug dealer is literally everywhere you go. And he's like, hey, you want some more? You want some? Come on. And the really the absolute hardest part, even further than that, is the fact that you have to have a little bit of drugs every day, and you have to control it not to go full blown. It's kind of like saying you can have meth, but only a little bit each day. Eventually, a lot of us will completely fall apart. So that's kind of why I say if you're Atkins or if you're low carb, be careful with your cheat days, because it's kind of like reintroducing your drug. You're like, oh, I'm gonna have a little bit of carbs. Chances are that's not true. You're gonna say that, and you're gonna think that, and you're gonna hope that, and you're gonna probably convince yourself that you're strong enough to have a day. But in all reality, giving yourself that little bit of that little high or whatever gets you going again in the wrong direction. So you guys stay strong, be stronger than your excuses. Keep up the good work. Remember to spread love, not hate. Thank you so much. This is probably the first time in a lot of times that we will go live on YouTube and talk about lots of stuff. Thank you for the support. Have a beautiful day.